What is Buddha diplomacy? Since the reign of Emperor Ashoka, Buddhism has been a potent tool for India's engagement with the rest of the world. If the British spread across the world through the force of their empire, India did so with ideas. After witnessing the brutality of the Kalinga War, Ashoka felt a profound grief, which led him to embrace Buddhism. He turned this from a local faith to an international religion. It was from India that Buddhism spread peacefully across Asia to Sri Lanka, Cambodia, China, Indonesia, Laos, Afghanistan, Mongolia, Vietnam, and Japan. But that was 2000 years ago. In the centuries that have passed, Buddhism waned and waxed in India. Not everyone agrees that it truly died out in the country. Shakti Sinha, Director General of the International Buddhist Confederation in New Delhi, says the stories about the disappearance of Buddhism in India are grossly exaggerated. Nonetheless, you might ask, what is Buddhism's relevance today to India's foreign policy? To answer that question, just look at a map of the Indo-Pacific. As Mansingh writes, Buddhism has remained a powerful cultural force. The Indo-Pacific is today the geopolitical center of gravity, the dominant powers of the region being the Buddhist nations, that is China, Japan, Korea, and almost half of ASEAN. Modern Indian foreign policy walked hand in hand with Buddhist ideals right from independence. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, who slept with an image of the Buddha next to his bed, suggested the idea of the Buddhist Dharma Chakra for India's national flag, as well as the three lions of the Ashokan pillars as the state emblem. In 89 embassies and 108 consulates that India has across the world, this ancient symbol of Emperor Ashoka, meant to symbolize the spread of Dharma, now bears testament to India's official diplomatic presence. Nehru wielded Buddha diplomacy not just with imagery, but with actions. His Panchashila, 5 principles of peaceful coexistence, have significant roots in the Buddha Dharma. Whether it worked is another matter. In 1950, India stood back as China invaded Tibet, the modern-day home of Buddhism. But at the same time, India went on to host the Dalai Lama and allowed the Central Tibetan administration to set up a government in exile in the country. India had before it a potent geopolitical ploy. It can use the idea of global leadership of Buddhism whilst also implying support for the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan cause. When Modi visited Japan in 2014, he and Shinzo Abe launched a dialogue to explore India and Japan's shared civilizational heritage. This included a series of Hindu-Buddhist conclaves. In 2015, Modi declared Bodh Gaya the spiritual capital of Buddhism. But the next year, India lost its footing. Following the dispute in Nepal over KP Oli's policies and the new Nepali constitution, India barred its diplomats from attending an international celebration of Buddha Jayanti in Nepal, which China went on to attend. China's inclusion is no small affair. Like India, China too wants to lay claim to Buddhism's modern heritage. At a Communist Party Congress a few years ago, it was claimed that Buddhism was indigenous to China and that China nurtured it, says Amitabh Mathur, former advisor to the Home Ministry on Tibetan Affairs. The Chinese say all the Buddhas were born enlightened, so there is nothing special about Bodh Gaya. Lumbini, where Siddhartha was born, is equally, if not more, important. Their purpose, of course, is to gain a foothold on our border, he says. Geopolitical experts have noted the importance of Buddhism in Asia. China needs Buddhism to pacify Tibet, says Amitabh Mathur. Any nation that controls Buddhism will control Asia, says scholar and diplomat P. Stobdan. While India has long been a hub of Buddhist institutions in Asia, China is trying to catch up. It set up the Nanhai Buddhism Academy in Hainan to counter India's Nalanda University, with an abbot from Lumbini as its head. It has also launched its own Buddhist conclave called the World Buddhist Forum. Most significantly, China seeks to create its own head of Tibetan Buddhism. Once the Dalai Lama dies, China says it will select its own Dalai Lama. However, Tibetan Buddhist leaders in India strongly disapprove, saying that China cannot simply choose the Dalai Lama. The successor to the Dalai Lama is chosen through a Tibetan Buddhist concept, and it's a deeply religious matter, and the Dalai Lama alone is responsible for his reincarnation, says Penpa Sering, head of the executive branch of the Central Tibetan Administration. Not only with China, but India differs on the case of the Buddha with Nepal too. While India accepts that the Buddha was born in Lumbini, it disputes Nepal's claim that Kapilavastu, the location of the Buddha's childhood home, lies within Nepal. This matters because Nepal's view is that the Buddha was always enlightened, meaning the significance of Bodh Gaya would be downplayed. And China wants to promote Lumbini as a rival to Bodh Gaya, as Mathur points out. Pakistan too is making moves. Imran Khan has sought to have the Gandhara International University established in Taxila, a bid to revive an ancient Buddhist university in the ancient land. Elsewhere, in other countries where India plays the role of Buddhist mentor, China often takes offense. When India was asked to restore the famous Ananda temple in Myanmar, China was furious, and Myanmar had to hand over another shrine to China for similar work. In Mongolia, when the Dalai Lama visited to authenticate the identity of the 10th incarnation of the third highest ranking Lama of Tibetan Buddhism, China issued a stern warning. So what is next for India? In Delhi, a new museum is planned on India's Buddhist heritage. It will incorporate what is believed to be the bones of the Buddha, presently in Delhi's National Museum. But China too claims to have pieces of the Buddha. In Nanjing, China, researchers claim to have found a 1,000-year-old model that contains a skull bone with inscriptions saying it belonged to the Buddha. Perhaps viewing Buddhism solely through the prism of geopolitics brings with it a tension that is unnecessary. As the Dalai Lama writes in The Week, the ultimate purpose of Buddhism is to serve and benefit humanity. Whether we consider ourselves Buddhists or not, we can all benefit from adopting the tried and tested principles of Karuna and Ahimsa as the basis for creating a happier, more peaceful world. You can read all this and more in the latest issue of The Week.